So after nearly 15 years, tonight on Adult Swim, the last episode of Aqua Teen Hunger Force, or Aqua Teen Hunger Force Forever, is going to air. And that'll be it. And it's for real this time, too, because there were like 2 other occasions where it was apparently canceled and then revived at the last minute. And yeah, but no, this time is officially it, and it's the last episode. So I was looking back on it, because this is a show that's been around as long as I can remember. I remember watching it all the way back in elementary school, when I really wasn't supposed to. My parents were actually very dutiful in keeping track of what I was watching, so I remember I had to kind of keep it, you know, like watching it in my bedroom, like late at night, keeping the volume down, you know, making sure they don't hear, you know, like Shake say damn or ass or something, because that'll just, you know, no, can't watch it for the children. But yeah, I watched it all the way up through high school, college, and now, and it's just as entertaining now as I found it back then. I think what helps is that it's so semi-regular in when it airs, you know. It's not the kind of show that, like, you know, airs in, like, the fall season and then spring and then, you know, comes back later the next year. It's so random how it comes out. Like, just this season alone, you know, this season was only consisting of 8 episodes. There was nothing last year, and then 2013 was the last season before this. So it's just completely random when it comes back, and that gives you enough time to kind of... He's like, oh, wow, I haven't seen an episode of this in, like, over a year. I'm going to watch it and see what's going on, you know? But yeah, so this video is going to be me looking at my personal top 10 favorite Aqua Teen Hunger Force episodes. There's really nothing else to it. I feel like, even for a show that airs, you know, on midnight on Adult Swim, that... honestly, probably not a lot of people watch in terms of, like, the mainstream. You know, it's obviously not as popular as, like, The Simpsons were at their height, or even Family Guy was at their height. But it's something that's been around for a while, and I think it deserves at least that much for me to make one solid video giving you guys my top 10. So here you go, the top 10, Tekking's, I guess I should say, Tekking's top 10 Aqua Teen Hunger Force episodes. Number 10, the Larry Miller Hair System. This episode is a perfect example of the random nature of the series. It's only with this show where you can have a title called The Larry Miller Hair System and have the majority of the episode focus on something completely different. So a salesman shows up at Carl's house and tries to sell him artificial hair. To try and persuade him into buying it, he shows him a simulated projection in his van of Carl's life if he had hair. He lives in a glorious house, has a nice job, and has a beautiful wife and 2 kids.
Come here, everyone. Group hug. Even you, puppy dog. Hey, you need to grow a sack! What was that? Shut it down.
Somehow, the simulated Carl, though, can hear the real Carl's voice in his head. The rest of the episode involves Carl giving helpful advice to his simulation counterpart.
You almost forgot your bag lunch.
Take her to the bathroom and make her watch you throw it in the toilet. Are you God?
Honey.
Resulting in him losing his job as well as his wife and kids, and eventually blowing his goddamn brains out with a shotgun.
Thanks, Carl. No, Carl. Thank you. This was fun. We had fun today.
At the end of the episode, Carl eventually does end up getting his artificial hair, which he enjoys very much, which leads into a very odd cameo by the cybernetic ghost of Christmas Past and an entire legion of time-traveling robots. Yeah, this episode's plot jumps around all over the fucking place, but that's why I find it so damn entertaining. It's like they took the plot of 3 different ATHF episodes and just smashed them into one.
Time chamber to the past.
Number 9, the last one. This was originally intended to be the series finale, and while it didn't end up happening, it did serve as the end of the original idea of what the show would be, in my opinion anyway. In this episode, most of the villains the Aqua Teens have faced up to this point are brought together by the Moonanites in an attempt to kill the Aqua Teens once and for all. Needless to say, their plan is not that good.
There is only one plan, and it involves this. The Screw of Damnation.
The ironic thing is that they spend most of the episode arguing back and forth on what the goal of the organization should be, what its name is, doing roll call, and other tedious shit, resulting in the deaths of the majority of the villains.
Hey, there's a snake over here. Bone good. Ah!
Oh, what, is it a little cold out there, honey? Ah! Whoa, shot down, dude.
Good job,
Squash him,
I will be back, man. Ah!
The Aqua Teens don't even show up until the very end, where the villains are immediately dispatched by Frylock's lightning eyes. It is pretty disconcerting, though, that for something that was originally considered to be a series finale, the main characters of the show are barely in it. However, the Moonanites were still pretty popular, and it was nice to see most of the one-off villains for one last time, so I think that would have been pretty cool if this really did end up being the last one.
Shut up and fish!
Satan-like funny box.
Number 8. Last Dance for Napkin Lad. For whatever reason, after Season 7, the show had a renaming gimmick for each additional season. I don't exactly know why they chose to do this, since the plot of the show is pretty much exactly the same as the original one, but I guess it was just their idea of trying to reimagine the show as something really new and exciting when it ended up not being something different at all. However, one particular episode lives up to the name of Aqua Unit Patrol Squad 1. The Aqua Teens, as well as Carl, are revealed to all be undercover agents for the past 10 years. This leads into a series of action movie cliches, such as a super intense car chase, an underwater submarine chase, and freaking explosions.
You couldn't get them in Cambodia, they walk right out of Afghanistan, and now you can't even pluck them out of your own backyard.
All culminating around an additional new character of the Aqua Teens called Napkin Lad. He was originally supposed to be in the original Baffler Meal episode and the Space Ghost to Coast episode, but was scrapped before it was aired. You can tell this episode is way above budget for all the other episodes as well, and it features even some 3D rendering. Yeah, I mean, it looks pretty shitty, but it's still way more cool than the stuff we usually get from the show. So it's really just more entertaining to watch, kind of the same as an action movie. You don't exactly see that shit for the plot, you mostly just to see cool car chases, awesome music, and shit blow up. Just lay back and enjoy yourself.
Hey, why are we heading toward that reef?
Correction, you're heading towards that route.
No! No!
Number 7. Grim Reaper Gutters. This one starts off as just a typical clip show, but of course that plot doesn't last very long. It changes into the teens remembering of when Shake bought Frylock's computer, and that leads into porn star Tara Patrick also staying at their house.
Remember when me and you and Meatwad...
What, Tara? What? Shut up! You're so mouthy. All I see is lips moving. Stories that go nowhere. Will you please just keep eating your corn dog?
The funny part, though, is when we find out the reason the teens were in the house remembering old times in the first place. It's not because they were just doing it because of the clip show. It's because that the fucking Grim Reaper is outside their house, and he wants to sell them gutters.
Oh, hi.
Excuse me, get out of my way.
My name's Dan, from Grim Reaper Gutters. I won't leave until I make a sale.
Frylock eventually uses Tara Patrick to lure Carl outside the house, only to be immediately killed. This is actually one of the few times I actually feel sorry for Carl's death.
I said no!
Okay.
Whoa!
Oh, damn.
You killed Carl!
Fine and fine.
Frylock, where are you going?
I guess I'm going to buy some damn gutters.
Frylock eventually relents and just buys the damn gutters, so I guess everything is good by the end of it. Oh, and then Meatwad shoots himself. Because why the fuck not, right?
Where'd you find that?
What does that matter? None of that matters now.
Wait, no!
Number 6. SPACEGATE World, or also known as Carl. Yeah, you could probably tell that I'm a fan of Carl-based episodes, and this one is one that has a lot of the fandom split on whether it's good or bad, funny, or just plain depressing. The Aqua Teens go on vacation, and we see what Carl's life is without them around. For me, it addresses something that while I did know before, it just makes it more apparent here. Carl just doesn't have any friends outside of the Aqua Teens. And so yeah, it's kind of hard for me to watch this episode without really feeling for the guy.
You know, stay with me, man. I'm full of information. I'm like an infomercial. You know what one of them is? It's information that you get in a commercial. Let's, freaking see if one's on now.
Most of it is just Carl staying in his house all day trying to do anything to pass the time. You come to realize that despite all the things that Shake and the others have done to hurt him, either physically or financially over the years, he needs them more than they do. Considering, hey, at least the Aqua Teens have each other. Carl is essentially just a loser that is probably going to spend the rest of his life alone. Damn, so why did I put this at number 6 again? Oh yeah, I guess I thought it was deep or something when I was making the list. Nah, it's not. It's just fucking depressing.
Hey, enough about me, Donna. You still got that cleavage. Still smuggling balloons wherever you go. Where are you now? Hello?
It's one of the episodes that if you were doing like a marathon of the show, I would recommend you skip. This, along with Party All the Time, focuses on some more serious subject matters that aren't really just that funny. It's still an interesting episode to watch, but you just have to be in the right mood for it.
Normally I wouldn't do a fat chick from the Flag Corps, but it is a new era of loneliness. Oh, God.
Number 5. The Cybernetic Ghost of Christmas Past. This is one of the most well-known episodes of the series, and for good reasons. It introduces one of the most popular characters, as well as a cameo by heavy metal rocker Danzig.
Danzig.
Huh.
On top of all of that, it's also kind of a Christmas special as well.
And I have come to show you what Christmas was like. All right.
So the ghost fills Carl's pool with elf blood, and when being asked how this came to pass, the ghost delves into a long and convoluted story of the first Christmas. Spoiler alert, it's not the version you heard as a kid.
Thousands of years ago, before the dawn of man as we knew him, there was Sir Santa of Claus, an ape-like creature making crude and pointless toys out of dino bone and his own waste.
At about halfway through the episode, though, you figure out that the ghost is more than likely just making all this bullshit up as he goes, which is what makes the whole episode so damn funny.
You must give of yourself to the great red ape. Okay, how much? Sexually. Wonderful.
At the end, though, everything actually works out for Carl at least. He sells his house to Danzig for $1 million, leaving both the ghost and the Aqua teens equally to suffer from the living conditions of their new next-door neighbor.
Better. If I find out he's over here, I'm gonna be eating my cereal out of the bottom of your skull. Verstandlich?
Merry Christmas, everybody. Number 4. Storage Zeebles. Carl and Frylock discover a gateway to another dimension inside of a storage container. A dimension that is populated by a number of fantasy creatures, including a race of elves called the ZEEBLES.
You ain't supposed to be living here, sir.
But we've lived here for a big long time, friendly giant.
And now it's over.
Carl, of course, uses this only as an opportunity to make himself rich and completely disregards the ZEEBLES and the fact that he's destroying their entire world. The funny thing here is that Carl doesn't even give a shit about the fact that he has a gateway to another reality, and he actually ends up screwing himself in that regard in the end.
Paradise.
This looks pretty different than the pamphlet that you had us look at.
Yeah, well, look, we logged out the forest because, we gotta make, room for the DJ and the dance floor. Look, it's your wedding. You're gonna be so trash, you ain't gonna remember a thing.
Yeah, didn't think that one through too much, did you, Carl? Each of the ZEEBLES are pretty interesting as well. They attempt to kill Carl, but due to their peaceful nature, they have no idea how to go about this properly.
We will bake him a blisterberry pie, and you, Zoff, we will bake you inside the pie. With a knife.
What? Inside of a friggin' pie? And then what?
When he opens his mouth to bite, you throw the knife at him and run. Let the knife do the work.
Carl ends up getting himself killed, though, when he removes the sun from the ZEEBLES universe, which is basically just a giant light bulb, and then immediately gets his ass eaten by a fucking wolf.
The Night Wolf!
Get out of here, you mangy piece of shit.
Number 3. The BROODWICH. This is an episode about an evil sandwich. Which is not nearly the weirdest thing that has ever happened on the show, but the way and the tone of the episode and the way it's executed, it gives it a very unique feel that not a lot of other episodes in the series, I think, achieved. So Shake, in an attempt to look for buried treasure, ends up discovering a cave underneath the Aqua teen's house.
Stay right there. I'll go get a flashlight.
I got it. Holy crap and a Peter! Monsters!
The cave is occupied by a disembodied voice that warns Shake about the terrors that lie within, specifically a sandwich known only as the BROODWICH.
The Blue Witch?
No, the BROODWICH, Meatwad. BROODWICH.
Wait, say what?
BROODWICH.
The Blair Witch is here?
No.
The sandwich, as described by the voice, is made from all the most evil ingredients in Hellspawn, and was baked by Beelzebub himself. Every time Shake takes a bite of it, he gets sent into another dimension where the animation style shifts, and he encounters a one-eyed plankton stick figure-looking dude, who seems pretty harmless at first, but...
You're the guy that keeps telling me to beware, because I'll tell you where to be. Out of my sight.
Beware.
Oh, what, do you got a sound guy or something?
Oh, that's a good trick.
Shake returns to his dimension every time he swallows the sandwich, but the voice warns him that if he eats the whole thing, he'll be stuck in that other dimension forever. Since the sandwich is so delicious, Shake can't bring himself to get rid of it, and eventually almost ends up nearly finishing it.
I haven't paid taxes in 6 years. I'm not getting busted by a sandwich.
Then you must find another. with an appetite for insanity.
Hey, you dumb? Eat this.
Attempts to make Meatwad suffer the punishment instead, but in a nice twist, Meatwad actually ends up tricking Shake into finishing the Broodwitch off.
Which is a strip club. Merry triple Xmas. You see what I'm saying?
Give me that sandwich!
Wow, so you saying it was fun?
Hell no, that son bitch had an axe.
The only fault I have with the episode is the ending. In order to get out of staying in the Hell Dimension, Shake simply removes the sun-dried tomatoes off the Broodwitch.
The Broodwitch cannot be taken apart or disassembled.
Obviously it can, because that's what I did.
I mean, really? We see the Aqua Teens and Carl die all the freaking time. This show isn't really one for continuity, you know what I mean? Just have him get axed in half and be back next week, everything will be cool, and...
Hey, wait a minute!
Now eat him.
Oh shit, I spoke too soon. Okay, yeah, this episode has it all. Go check it out. Number 2, Ezekiel. A smaller, more cheery milkshake shows up on the Aqua Teen's door one day, and Frylock just assumes it's Shake's son because, well, how many other freaking sentient milkshakes are there in the world? Now, just disregard the mountain of questions this opens up initially, because first we have to see Shake in a fatherly role.
See? And here he goes!
No Shake.
Yes, Frylock?
Yeah, that's about right. Shake is reluctant at first to be the dad to this little milkshake named Ezekiel by Meatwad.
I'm gonna name you Jesus, Ezekiel, Jesus. And that's from the Bible.
But eventually he comes around and wants his son to be the absolute best at everything he attempts, and when he fails to live up to Shake's expectations, well, yeah.
Go in! Go in! Get in that net, you crazy whore!
Ooh! God, you suck at basketball!
However, Ezekiel eventually does find something that he is good at as he defeats the chess dragon at his own game. Probably the most awesomely designed one-off character this show has ever produced.
Checkmate! You're the hippopotamus!
Frylock eventually reveals at the end of the episode that Shake is not Ezekiel's real father, as he knows for a fact Shake has never had sex. The reason I place this episode so high is just because I freaking love Ezekiel. He's just so innocent and adorable when compared to how dysfunctional all the other characters are, and the cruelty of the world he's thrown into.
You take care.
That's right, get lost.
Even when he's being carried away by a fire-breathing dragon, he just takes it all with smile and cheers.
Flying! Flying! I'm having an adventure!
And the number 1 Aqua Teen Hunger Force episode is... The Shaving. This is the only Halloween special of the series, something that you'd think just based on the premise you'd see more of. I mean, there were like 3 Christmas episodes. Anyway, this Halloween, though, a monster is revealed to be living in the Aqua Teen's attic, and he has descended to retrieve his mail.
Oh, good one, Frylock. Which crappy book is this one from? Onion of Arabia?
So do you have any mail for me? Willie Nelson?
Willie Nelson.
Well, not the Willie Nelson, but my name is Willie Nelson.
Willie is an onion spider hybrid-looking thing that seems pretty chill and has a pretty calm demeanor for a monster.
You are the gayest monster since gay came to Gaytown!
Whoa, easy. Where's this coming from?
No!
Shake decides to teach him how to be truly scary, and he hatches a variety of plans to attempt to scare Carl. However, due to Willie's nature and Shake's incompetence, it doesn't go over as planned.
What are you doing here?
I live here, ass!
And the last attempt ends up blowing up in Shake's face, quite literally. The biggest twist, though, and something even I wasn't expecting when seeing this episode for the first time, is at the very end. I'm not going to spoil it for you if you haven't seen it, but it will probably have a lot of you saying, that escalated quickly. I really wish they would have brought Willie back more. I mean, it should have been fairly easy considering he lives in their damn house. He's vaguely mentioned and seen from time to time, but he always just appears in cameos or in the introduction scenes. He's one of those characters that I think had a lot of potential, his voice was awesome, and it's just that they didn't do much more with him. Yeah, now that I actually think about it, damn, there really were a lot of Carl episodes on there. Damn it, Carl, I love you, you fat bastard, you will be missed. Actually, I have a fun story about this. It doesn't involve me, but it is something Carl-related. So, in, I believe it was the Season 6 finale of the show, it was called The Last One Forever and Ever. It was another one of those instances where they thought the show would have been canceled, so they titled the episode, you know, something to be like the finisher, like the series finale, and it didn't turn out to be that way. But The Last One Forever and Ever was filmed live action, and H. John Benjamin, I know, played Shake, and they had the same voice for Meatwad as in the show. I forget who the guy was that played Frylock, but he did a pretty good job. But anyway, in order to cast Carl, they actually had a contest through Burger King. Burger King was the sponsor, and basically they just, let it up to America, like the casting call. Just film yourself, giving your best Carl impression, get your white wife beater and some gold chains and your mustache grown in, and just do your best Carl impression, and the winner becomes Carl in the live-action episode. And I guess what you had to do to enter is, go to your local Burger King and get, like, the rules and stuff and send it in and shit. Well, the person that ended up winning, David Long Jr., lives in my town. He went to the Burger King, the same Burger King that I work next to, that's in the same plaza as the Dollar Tree where I work, and that's where he entered the contest. He's from Evansburg, Pennsylvania, and he won, and he was in the show. So, I mean, it doesn't involve me, but it's kind of funny that, that person won, and he's, like, I probably have seen him at some point. He probably came in the store at one point, and that's pretty cool that I probably have gotten to meet Carl at one point in my life, and he did a great job. He was pretty funny in that episode. But yeah, so that's it. Aqua Teen Hunger Force forever. Seriously, it was, part of me really kind of hopes there's some sort of fan backlash, but just because it's been apparently canceled 2 times before this, part of me really feels like if there's enough fan backlash at this, they might actually do it, because it's the longest running cartoon on Adult Swim, and, people might freak out. Because remember what happened with Family Guy. What happened with Family Guy is it didn't originally air on Adult Swim, but it was because it aired on Adult Swim, and so many people started watching it, and the DVD sales spiked, that it ended up coming back. And that's probably not going to happen the same way with Aqua Teen, but maybe I hope it'll come back in some form, in some way, someday. Until then, we have Rick and Morty, which is their newest show that they cranked out, the newest animated show, I believe, and it's in Season 2, and I'm loving that show. I freaking entertained as hell watching it, so yeah. In the meantime, though, I'm looking forward to the final episode tonight. It's 2 parts together, so it's a whole half hour of Aqua Teen, so I can't see any better way to send it off. I hope we get to see some of our old friends and characters, and I hope we get to see Willie Nelson. I know it's very unlikely. We're probably going to get to see, like, the Moonanites and all the famous ones, but I hope if they just throw him in there as a cameo. I mean, he's in the intro, but I just hope he's seeing in the cameo, because I love that spider bastard. Alright, anyway, later everybody. Have a good night. Teching, signing out.